On a previous episode, we saw the basic usage of the AwesomePrint gem. That's the basic usage of the gem. It's very nice to have a way to pretty print strings and to put some color on our outputs. But that's not the end of the story. I want to show you a couple of tricks I developed over the years to use AwesomePrint to assist my day-to-day work. Both of them hinge on the fact that I tend to debug using AP and puts most of the time. Say we have a script that lists all the index files under the episodes directory and then extracts the slugs for each of them. Looking at the directory each of them is located under. If you don't use file list and path names often, you can easily get lost in this code. When I had to write code like this one, I used the AP method heavily. I'll probably do the following experiments on a test file and run after each change. Let's write the file list, but starting from the beginning. We start by asking just for the top level episodes directory. Okay, this just shows us the root directory of the project. We can add an asterisk to show all the folders inside. This shows all the directories, but we need just the ones that contains an index.md, .org or .adoc file, since those are our actual episodes. Anything else is just noise. Since we are using AwesomePrint, let's actually make use of it and show the file list as an array, which looks better on a terminal. Now it's much easier to see that there are some episodes we want to list, but one that we don't. We want to list the proper episode list, but we don't want to lose track of all the directories in the previous output yet, so we can compare them. And here is where the trick comes in. We could just print one and then print the other, but if we are doing this in a codebase with some extra output, this could get confusing. So instead of doing so, we are going to print a hash, where the keys are some sort of explanatory symbol, and the values are the actual method calls. The keys don't even need to be very descriptive, just something that makes sense to us at that moment, since this code will get asked very soon. We can even remove the curly braces so it looks better. And now we can actually see a more explicit output. We can now add a new line that returns all the directories with the index files, and see its output. Finally, we can filter out anything that doesn't have the right extension. Now we can remove the first two lines, since we outgrew them, and run the script to compare which directories are filtered. We can keep going on with the instructions of the episode slugs, but I think you get the gist. This gets really useful when we have a lot of variables or method names that are somewhat similar, either in names or values. I use this all the time. My second trick makes use of my editor's capacity to add custom text snippets. You can do it without snippets, but having them makes it trivial to implement. Say we have some code with lots of login or text output. We want to see if our code has actually reached a specific point in the execution chain, but it's difficult to see. Take a look at this very contrived piece of source code. We want to see if step C has been performed, and we don't want to jump into the debugger. But from the output, it's hard to quickly assess if it was run, at least for me. So what I do is go to the line I want to see printed, type the string DG, which is the trigger for my snippet, and then expand it. The expanded string adds a bit of white space at the beginning of the line in order to force some indentation. Then it adds a couple of greater than characters in order to make the line longer. Then it adds the file we are currently in and the line number. And finally, it colors it red so it stands out. This way, if we run this file as a step on a bigger context, we know exactly where we are. We still can't see anything different, which means the path has not been triggered. But if we change the flags we are switching on, we can see a red marker. I have snippets for several colors in case I want to drop in more than one marker. These expand to the same type of marker but with different colors, which looks very distinct from each other on the terminal. Of course, we could combine this trick with the one before. And when we run our script again, we can see exactly which flag is the one that is failing us. We learned how to use AwesomePrint and how I actually use it on my day-to-day work. I'm sure there are a million other tips and tricks for using this gem, and I'll be sharing them if they come my way. I encourage you to use both AwesomePrint and the tricks I show you on this episode. And please, if you have any other tips, leave them on the comments so other folks can benefit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.